so that we can then send it out to everyone a bit later for those who couldn't make it. So just some very quick details. So obviously, Premier's division is starting tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon, I should say. JSVL is starting on the 26th of April, and all the other divisions start on the 28th of April. So only a couple of weeks till we get fully kicking into high gear. And it's running over 3 days now, so Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. There's 6 divisions, 4 age groups for JSVL, and this year we're at a total of 274 teams. So I think it's about a 50-team increase from last year. So the comp's getting bigger, which means more games, more opportunities for us as referees to be refereeing and gaining more experience. And so it means there's going to be a lot more opportunities for everyone. So if you work hard, and hopefully by the end of it, we've all learnt and gotten better. So I just want to very briefly, I think everyone should know this. I just want to go over our uniform. So it's the simple, lovely blue shirts. For those who don't have them, there's the option of the white shirt. Long navy pants with a black belt and predominantly white shoes, and make sure we're wearing a watch. We don't want to not be able to time our intervals. I think we're still got to talk with Sam if they want us to wear our badges or not. There's still a bit of contention because Volleyball Australia don't really want us to wear badges. But I think Sam said on the email for the appointments for this weekend to wear badges. But we will let you know what it goes on throughout the rest of the season. So pre-match, my first question to everyone: when should we be at the court for our first game? I want someone to be a brave soul and answer my question. Who's going to be my brave soul? When should we be at the court? Edward said 15 minutes before the warm-up. Nathan says 30 minutes prior. What would Keith do? If you had first game on Sunday, what time would you be rocking up?
I would be there 30 minutes before game start to make sure I've got the 10 minutes before protocol starts to basically check out everything else, help the chief referee set up any nets that need to be set up, anything like that that needs to be done. If you've got first game, always be in there earlier.
Yep. What if you had second game? So if you weren't the first game, second game?
I'm playing the first game, so I'm actually never worried about that.
But if you weren't playing, but you were refereeing the second game, what time would you be expected to be around your court?
I'm a big believer in you can find something to do that's useful if you're there beforehand. So if you're there 30 minutes before, then that means when you get to 20 minutes, both teams have already had a chance to go, oh, that's right, there's the score sheet. And both teams have had a chance to go, oh, that's right, we probably should put our bags at the end of the floor, all those sort of things. So yeah. I'm a big believer of the little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think Sam says 10 minutes before the start of the warm-up. I personally like to make it 15 because then it gives yourself that extra traffic getting into the venue, finding your chief referee, maybe doing a quick introduction, finding your court, making sure you've got your teams around, just those small things. The earlier there, the more time you give yourself to prepare for the game. We definitely do not want to be rocking up right as the 20-minute protocol is starting. That is way too late. All right, so what should we be doing in the pre-match? So we're now in the warm-up protocol. What should we be doing as our, what would you do in your match warm-up? Who's going to answer? I can pick on people. I'm happy to pick on people. I might throw this one out to Fred. Fred, what would you do?
So what's the question? What should we do prior to our match?
What should you do prior to the match starting? So we're in the warm-up protocol. 20 minutes, bang, it's just started. What would you be doing in your
while making sure you are, well, gear-wise, like equipment-wise, uniform-wise, everything you're ready. You should be in your uniform by the time you get to the court. No later than, personally, I would go T minus 30. You should be in your uniform, ready to go. Ideally, for SVL, ideally with your measuring stick in your hand, so that when you're ready to check the net height, you can go and check the net height. What else? Prior to our match, did you mean prior to the protocol or prior to the first whistle?
No, this is prior to the first whistle. So we're in the protocol.
Are you in the protocol already? Okay.
We are in the protocols. So what should we be
Sure.
doing in the protocol?
Okay. First and
See-
foremost, I think introduce yourself to the coaches, to the teams. If those teams are already there, let them know you'll be the first referee of this match. Ideally, shake their hands, just that rapport building, so to speak. Check the ball pressure. Well, that's ideally second referee's job, but if you got a duty team, probably that's on you still. What else? Check the score sheets. Check everything is on the table. That's meant to be on the table. Is already on the table. Very importantly, check the referee stand. Check the net height, of course. Check the antennas, whether the positions of the antennas are correct. They should be waved in from opposite side of the of either side of the net. And go check your referee stand. Stand on your referee stand. See whether there needs to be some adjustments. They can be adjusted. Get your referee card. Get your cards on the referee stand next to the post. This should be done prior to you going on top of the referee stand before the game starts. Did I miss anything? I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Alan mentioned checking the uniforms. So of the playing teams, that's always a very important thing. We will go into that a little bit later because there are a few things. But the big thing from us is actually doing the protocol. So T minus 20, we've got the score sheet, the match ball. Ideally, they're already on the court, not getting it from the competition desk. But once we're in the 20, the first thing on the top of the list is we're checking the net height. We want to check the net height because then if there is an issue with it, we need to fix it before we go into our hitting warm-up. We need to make sure the net height's correct. And we should then, after that, have a duty team. If we don't have a duty team, we then need to be getting our chief referee involved. Hey, we don't have a duty team. They'll then get in contact and ask them where they are. And then, so checking uniforms, checking the ref stand, all that kind of things. We can definitely be doing that in that time period before we then get to our T minus 13, where we then need to do a coin toss. And then it's pretty straightforward from then on. Do the coin toss, T minus 12, we start the hitting at the nets. 5, you technically don't have to direct them in their warm-up. So if they want to hit from one side for 7 minutes and serve for 3 minutes, they're within their right to do that. But typically the teams are looking towards us to control it. So it's I usually do 4.5, 1 minute. That's just how I do it. Makes it even both sides, 1 minute serving. Key thing is we do need to get the lineup sheets for the first set before at the 7 minute mark. So it gives the scorers time to get it all filled in, do all their checks that they need to do. T minus 2 minutes, they come off the court. T minus 1, get the starting 6 on the court, check the rotations, try to whistle at T minus 0 for the first serve. For use, they're a 15-minute protocol, so it's slightly faster, but you're still doing all the same things as you would in a 20-minute. You're just doing it slightly later, but you've got less time to do it because they are timed games. Is there anything else anyone else can think of? Anything? All right. I've already answered that question. All right, so team rosters. So this year there is a change in the team rosters. So all divisions are allowed to have 14 players now. So that's 12 regular players with 2 Libros, and that's for all divisions. For Premier Division, it's still Libro per game, whereas all the other divisions, it's Libros per set. So they are allowed to redesignate their Libros. But they are allowed 14 players now on court side. So that is something slightly different because in the big scheme of things, we're hoping to integrate all divisions running like the Premier Division. So we've got to slowly introduce that to everyone. So to start off with, we're going to allow all divisions to get up to 14 players. Does everyone understand that? That's the key part. All right. So it does mean this is what on the score sheets is what the roster will look like. So you have your 12 listed players and then the 2 spots for Libros. For all the lower divisions, when we get to them, they just need to, in the Libro boxes, write their starting Libros for the first set. Just so they can have the 14 slots. They can then still redesignate between sets if they want to. But it's just, we didn't want to mess with the boxes too much. Does everyone understand that? Thumbs up all rounds? Hoping? Yes?
Yes.
Cool. All right, uniforms. So we have to make sure everyone is in uniform. So this is straight out of the regulations. So making sure that teams are wearing their club uniforms, which is playing shirts of matching style and color, numbered front and back. Libros are wearing a unique numbered shirt of contrasting color to everyone else. Captain's bar has to be on the shirt. We are allowing, some teams might look at wearing armbands this year. That has been approved because we're trying to fit with the clubs and make it easier for them instead of trying to print 5 shirts every year just to put a captain's bar. And we don't like putting the tape on it because it falls off and da-da-da. So some teams might look at using a captain's armband. So just something to keep an eye out for. But they can only use tape for a captain's bar. They can't use it to make a number. It can only be used for a captain's bar if they're going to modify their shirt. Make sure the numbers is 1 to 99. We can't have 100 or 0. So make sure we check all the numbers. For the bottom, so it's shorts, bike pants, or long tights, and they must be matching color style with minimal logos. So if it's an Adidas compared to a Nike, as long as there's not a giant Nike logo, it's more Adidas, it's all right. They don't need to have numbers on their shorts. They can just be plain. One thing I have noticed that we are going to try and put a stop to is they can't wear another club's bottoms. So I've seen some teams where they've changed clubs and they're still navy shorts, but they still have like a different club's logos all over it. So try and pull them up early, so then we don't then get halfway through the comp and realize that they've been playing out of uniform. And socks aren't considered as part of the uniform, so they can wear whatever color, length, style they like. All right, coaches. Coaches do have uniform as well. So you might want to talk to the coach. So they are encouraged, it's not enforced, but it is encouraged that they wear club affiliate shirts, jackets, and pants and stuff. They can't be wearing a playing shirt, but if they're playing and coaching, so when they're coaching, they've got to put a jacket or something over top. But when it comes to them playing on court, they can just pull it off and go out to play. But they just can't coach wearing the playing top.
Keith just has his hand.
Oh, yes, Keith. How can I help you? You're still muted, Keith.
Just a question on logos on shorts.
Yes.
You mentioned other club logos. Are you counting a VNSW logo as another club short? Or are you going to be okay with that, given that certainly I know a lot of the young kids like to flash their Phoenix shorts with the VNSW logo on when they're wearing their shorts?
I think the VNSW one is fine because they're not representing. Well, that's a hard one. I think it's more so they don't want people wearing other clubs' uniforms, whereas VNSW is like the next level up. So
yeah, I get that. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, but I'll double check that and see if they're okay with that. But for now, try and tell them not to until we get a final approval.
Other thing to go with that, we don't have a week's grace or anything like that as far as uniform goes. We're expecting people to be in uniform week 1.
Correct.
Yes, good.
We are expecting that. But yeah, if you have any problems, by all means, call the chief referee over and they will come and sort it out. And then if we have to go up the chain even further, then we will. But from day one, it all kicks off. And that's why if we do our job by picking it up from day one, it then means the teams are aware that we're being really crucial on it. So then by finals times, we don't have any problems whatsoever. And also for the clubs that have other divisions playing, if we're picking up in the Premier Division, then the expectation is when they start, they're going to be pinged for the same stuff. So cool. Enclosed shoes. So everyone's going to be wearing enclosed shoes. Crocs this year do not count as enclosed shoes. So for your duty teams, if they're wearing Crocs, tell them no, it is not allowed anymore. I think we're just making it a hard, clear no to Crocs. They might be upset about it, but unfortunately, we're just making it a hard no Crocs allowed. Because in the end, it comes back to they're there to do a job, and to do the job properly, wearing proper enclosed shoes is the best fit. All right, this is just an out of uniform procedure, but if we're doing our job properly, we've picked it up before we get to the toss, because then our chief referee can come in, we can inform them, so hopefully they can get in uniform before the toss. But that's just some information there about what happens if we've misplaced it or we've haven't picked it up till later. That's just, some information there. Compression gear, everyone's allowed to wear it. Doesn't need to be, as long as it doesn't obstruct the official uniform. There's a recommendation not to wear glasses or jewelry, but the players do that at their own risk. And I think for JSVL, it might be more encouraged. They haven't come back to me on what we're doing for JSVL, because I know in other tournaments it's been a enforced no jewelry. I'll get back to you on that one. They haven't got back to me yet. So no political, religious, alcohol, tobacco sponsors. So that's that one there. So all uniform items represent the club affiliate entered the competition, including but not limited to name of affiliate, logos, colors, and official club partners. No other clubs, affiliates, or interested parties may be visible on uniforms. So that's it right there, Keith, for you. So our technical committee can request electronic or physical examples if they want to try and get away with things. But it all comes down to, if we do our jobs properly and see it early, we can then fix it so that we don't have any problems later on. Any other questions about uniform?
A quick one, Jaden. Sorry, Jaden.
Yeah.
A quick one. I may have misheard it. Did you say the coach cannot wear a plain T-shirt or shirt as their coaching uniform? Did I hear it right?
So if they are the listed coach, but they're also playing, when they are off the court and are coaching from the sideline, they can't be wearing their playing top visibly. So they've got
Okay.
to put a jacket or a jumper over top.
Okay, only if that person is also playing, but if the person is only coaching, then that's fine. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
All good. Any other questions? Nope. Awesome. All right. So the new liberos, or the new libero rules. I've already mentioned it before. Before divisions, we're going with the 12 with 2 liberos. So that's, yeah, as we said before, once they hit the 13th and 14th player, they have to have 2 liberos. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then, yeah, it's just in that roster part, the starting liberos for the other divisions just need to be labeled in there. Liberos can wear a bib if they don't have a contrasting jersey, but everything else is pretty much the same.
Igor has another question on the top.
Oh, yeah.
If players wearing shirts of different sponsor logos, is that okay?
Sorry.
If players are wearing shirts that have different sponsor logos, is that okay? If they're sponsored
As
by-
long as they're not like big and very, like, if they're just small, it's okay. As long as they're not like, because if it's just a player individually, so like it's, say it's a different logo from a pants company, that's fine. But as long as it's not big logos, if they're small, that's okay. But we just don't want them wearing different affiliates gear is the big one. All right. Substitutions. So it's the same as always. So when they do subs, they're replacing the position. They're not changing the order. For Premier, for all divisions, we're running the 12 sub rule. So everyone should be very familiar with the 12 sub rule. You've got 3 entries, maximum 12 subs. The only change is if we need to, for an exceptional sub, for an injury, you can redesignate your libero if you've got no one else that can fulfill the substitution. So that's if they've only got 7 players with 1 libero, one of the players gets injured and cannot continue to play, we are allowing them to redesignate the libero to be a player to then fill, so then we don't have to forfeit the game straight away. But it's the usual 12 sub rule. So is everyone happy with that? No questions about 12 sub rules? No? Awesome. And then lastly, what should we do at the end of our game? What should be the last things we do at the end of a game? So the game's finished, we've done our job, everyone's shaking hands, captain signed the score sheets. What should be the last thing we do before we walk out of the stadium? Who can I pick on? I'm going to pick on Jenny.
Hand in the score sheet.
Who are you handing it to?
The chief ref.
And what else are you going to do whilst you're there with your chief referee?
Oh. Discuss the game if necessary.
So
Debrief.
that's the one there. We want to try this year in particularly do a lot more debriefs with people about the games. We also got to be in mind that when you have 8 courts and 1 chief referee, we've got to try and be as quick as we can. But some feedback that we got from last year was that some referees felt like they weren't receiving lots of feedback. And so for those who are looking at being chief referees, a big thing is filling in the feedback forms after the day, because some people do actually read them. It also helps the board when it comes to appointments. We do base some appointments off what is written in the feedback forms. so that everyone has their own folder, and all your feedback forms should be being put into that. And so this year we're going to be trying to keep on top of all our chief referees, make sure they're filling those in, so that one, you guys as referees can see that and see what they've written about your games and where you can improve on and what was good. But then also from us, when it comes to eventually appointing people for finals, we've got a nice progression of everyone's season. So that's something that, as for you guys, when you go and, oh, here's my score sheet for the game, and have your quick chat, just possibly even just remind them to fill out the feedback form. And if you notice that you haven't received a bunch of feedback forms after 3 weeks, tell someone so that we can make sure that they get filled in for you. Because it's important for you guys, for some of the upcoming referees who are looking at getting better and want to go further in refereeing, you need to know where your improvements and how well you're doing. Now, some lovely important information that we're going to kind of announce in this is we are looking at actually running some workshops this year throughout the year. We're going to try and aim for one every 2 months. We're going to have a variety of different topics. So some will be how to appropriately use the sanction scale, second refereeing, scoring, the art of officiating, just to name a few. And the whole point is to help grow you guys. It doesn't matter where you're at level-wise, how long you've been doing it. It's all about getting the most relevant information that's coming from FIVB and passing it on to you guys so that you guys can get better and grow where you are in your sport. So keep your eye out. It'll be similar to this, where it'll just be online, hopefully between an hour or 45 minutes to an hour. There'll be plenty of times to ask questions, but we've noticed that it's an easier way to help people grow. And then also saying that, there'll also be some beach volleyball ones as well. So seeing as the beach season's finished for this year or last season, we want to try and introduce you guys to beach for the next season, because it'd be nice to see a few more people than just myself and Christina refereeing games on the beach, because it's almost, I would say, easier than doing indoor. That's me personally, but so keep an eye for it, and hopefully you guys can have a lovely season. Is there any other questions at all before we finish for the night?
A quick one, maybe to Rachel about the, or maybe to Sam as well, about the registration. Are we paying for this year again? I mean, are we going to receive any information on that?
Yep. Actually, I sent an email. Sorry, yes, I'll send an email as well, but it's also on our Facebook.
Oh, okay,
page,
okay, all
the
right.
link. Yeah, but I'll send out an email with the link to register.
So it's the same. It's pretty much the same as last year, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions at all?
Actually, on that same token, so you, the same as last year, you have to be a registered member of New South Wales Volleyball Referees Association to receive your payments. So make sure you register early.
Yep. Thank you, Rachel.
It's already expired. It expired at the start of this month. To answer your question, Alan, I just saw that. So definitely get on top of that. If you don't get it in time for this weekend, it's not that big of a deal, but it's more of you won't get paid at all until it's done. And it's the same for those who play as well. like you got to make sure you've done your registrations to actually be eligible to play. So hopefully your clubs have gotten on to you about that. So any other questions? Going once, going twice, 3 times, and you're out. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for coming on tonight. I hope we all have a lovely SVL season this year. Good luck to all those who are playing. Be safe. Try not get injured. And I will see you all in the next few weeks.
Thanks, Jaden.
Thanks, everyone. See you
Thanks,
tomorrow.
everyone.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye
everyone.
bye. See you. Good
Thank you.
night.
What the Peter?